Hi guys, it's Amber from Amber Eats Books, and I'm here today to do my July book haul. Now I'm hoping these are all the books that I buy in July. We're only about halfway through the month, but I'm kind of now putting myself back on my book buying ban, so I don't think I'll buy many more books, if any at all, for the rest of the month. So I figured I have a huge stack here. I want to get them put on my shelves. Why not just go ahead and film a book haul? So let's dive in. The first stack of books I have to show you came from my local library's annual book sale. Now at this book sale, I usually buy a ton of books. I mean a ton of books. But this year, one, the pickings were kind of slim because they had these people that went in there. You could pay $5 to go in an hour earlier than the rest of the public, which I did not pay because I'm going to a library book sale to get cheap books, not to pay an extra $5 for it. So they had already had people in there for the first hour that were still there when I got there, and they were just scanning books with their cell phones and finding books with the highest resale value so that they could turn around and resell them somewhere else, and just buying, like, I'm talking like 20-30 bags of books just for that. I mean, there was like 80 or 90 people doing this. It was crazy. It was the most I've ever seen from any other year. And it kind of stinks because it made the selection for the regular public very small. So I didn't get as many books as I wanted, but I did get some. And also they didn't have any hardcover Stephen King books, which usually they have a ton of. So I don't know if it's just because they have a high resale value that those other people had already taken them, or people just didn't donate a lot of Stephen King this year. I don't know, but usually I get a ton of his books, and I think I only was able to get one, and it wasn't even a hardcover. But I still was able to get a decent amount of books, and some that I'm really excited about, so let me show those to you. The first one was a YA book, and that is Challenger Deep by Neal Shusterman, and look how much I paid, guys. I paid 25 cents for this book, so I'm really excited about that. And then keeping with the YA theme, I also got Out of the Easy by Ruta Sepetys, and I paid 50 cents for this one. I loved Between Shades of Grey and Salt to the Sea. I read this one as well. It wasn't my absolute favorite, but I would love to have a collection of her books because I love the first two so much. So I definitely figured I'd go ahead and pick this up, and then if my older daughter wanted to read it, I only paid 50 cents for it. Then another book that I read and I really enjoyed was The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh, and I only paid 25 cents for this book, you guys. 25 cents, how could I go wrong? And it's in like great condition. The only thing is there's the stickers from the library on here, but I don't care. I have this, I can reread it now, and I just need to get the sequel in paperback. Then I found another Roald Dahl book that I had been searching for, and that is The Witches, and I paid 50 cents for this one as well, and I will be able to have this when I read my Roald Dahl for my children's classics. And now I think we're moving into more of the adult paperbacks, and for that I was so ecstatic when I found this one, and that was The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. I've heard so many good things about this, and I paid $2 for it, so I cannot wait to get to it. This is a nonfiction book, and as you guys know, I've been really into nonfiction this year. And then this book I just picked up just because of the name, and it seems to be a thriller, and that is The Gingerbread House by Karen Gerhardsen, and I paid $2 for this one as well. Just seems like a book that I would love to read in October. And then I saw this book and I had to have it. It's called Alice I Have Been by Melanie Benjamin. I paid $2 for this. I love anything that has to do with Alice in Wonderland. It's one of my favorite types of retellings and fairy tales that I just love to read about. So I'm collecting all sorts of Alice in Wonderland books, and this happened to be there, and I've never read this, and I think that this would be a fantastic addition to my collection. Then I saw an Ann Tyler book. I've read some Ann Tyler before, and this is The Accidental Tourist. I've not read this one, and I really wanted to give another book by her a try, and again I paid $2 for this one. And then I've never read The Color Purple by Alice Walker, and I've heard someone recently on one of the channels say that they really absolutely love this book, so I decided why not go for it. Again, it was only $2. And then this is another book I've heard about here on BookTube, and that was The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafran, and I paid $2 for it, guys, and it's like in great condition. I really wanted to read this series of books, and I'm glad that I could try it out for just a couple of dollars. Then I found another Roald Dahl book, and that is Roald Dahl's Book of Ghost Stories, and I paid $1 for this one. I can't wait to try this one out. It seems like another book that I would love to read in October. Then I found one Stephen King book out of all of that. Besides in the mass market paperbacks, I'm sure there was some Stephen King in there, but I do not even go to the mass market paperback section because I hate that size book. So I ended up finding Wizard and Glass by Stephen King, and this is $2. This will replace one of my small mass market paperbacks that I do have of this series. I've already reread this one, so it'll be a while before I read this one again, but I thought at least I will have it in a big floppy paperback version for when I want to do that. Now let's jump into the hardcover books that I found at my library sale. The first one I found was a total cover buy, and I think this is a YA book, and that was Blood Red Snow White by Marcus Sedgwick. This was $1, guys, and I thought that this cover was gorgeous, and anything that has to do with a fairy tale retelling I'm all about, so I was happy to pick this one up, and I think my daughter will probably like to read this one as well. And then I have read some John Irving, and I really enjoyed A Prayer for Owen Meany. I read A Widow for 1 year and was just about it. So I saw this one and it was only $1, The Hotel New Hampshire, and I thought I better pick this up. I was going to buddy read this I think a couple months ago with my friend Liz, and we just never got around to it for whatever reason, and I didn't have my own copy at the time. So Liz, if you're watching and you want to buddy read this, let's do it sometime maybe in the fall. And then the next two books were books that I took away from those people that were scanning books. I didn't realize I was doing it, but like I said after the fact, I didn't really feel that bad about it. The first book I bought was The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I've never read anything by Donna Tartt. I know this has some sort of mixed reviews. I know The Secret History is a little bit more popular than this one, but I've heard enough good things that makes me want to read it for myself, and I figured why not? It was only $1. And then this book, I've heard good things, but the cover is what made me want to always pick this book up, and that is The Interestings by Meg Wolitzer. It's just gorgeous, you guys. I absolutely love the spine. I love everything about it, so I'm hoping I love the story so I can talk myself into keeping this book on my bookshelf. The next book that I picked up, I actually picked up from my daughter's shelf down in her bedroom. She actually was not interested in reading it, and I said, oh, I think I read another book by that author and liked it, so I will take it, and that is another YA book called Revolution by Jennifer Donnelly. I read These Shallow Graves by her, and I really enjoyed it, so I figured I would give this one a try. And my final stack of books actually came from Amazon. I have had A Torch Against the Night, which is right there, if you guys can see it on my shelf, since October. I had received it for my birthday. I'd read An Ember in the Ashes, but I had read that from a library copy. I didn't actually own my own copy. And when I redid my bookshelves recently, I was like, A Torch Against the Night is just so lonely. It needs its companion. So I finally broke down and I ordered An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir from Amazon, and I'm so glad that now I can have them sitting next to each other on the shelf. And then another book. This book I actually pre-ordered because I was so excited for it. I read 2 other books by this author, and I could not wait for this third one that came out, and that is Lost Boy by Christina Henry. The other 2 books I read was Alice and the Red Queen. Again, these were total reimaginings of Alice in Wonderland, which I ended up really enjoying. So when I heard she was coming out with a Peter Pan sort of retelling, I think this is the story maybe of Captain Hook, I was sold. I was like, I need that book. So I pre-ordered it, and I cannot wait to get to it. I'm hoping to get to it during my August reading, so I'm really excited for it. And then the last set of books is actually a box set. I went on Amazon, I think it was called Amazon Prime Day, and they were having, you know, sales on all sorts of things, and I happened to come across this box set of books, which was regularly $30 on Amazon. If I had bought these books individually, it probably would have been way more than that, but the box set originally was $30. They had it on sale for $20, but I also found a $5 off coupon code, so I ended up getting this box set for $15, and it is 3 of Frederick Bachman's books. I was so ecstatic because I've had these on my wish list forever. So I will show you which ones came in it. We have A Man Called Uva, which was my favorite one of his so far. I also read and really enjoyed My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. And it came with a third book, which I have not read yet, but I'm really excited to get to, and that is Britt Marie Was Here, who was actually a character in My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. So I was so excited, you guys, to be able to get all three of these for $15 and to have it come in this gorgeous little box. I also have a gift card that I do have to use at some point, so I may get this other book and you'll see it in probably just one of my regular weekly videos that I make, but I'm hoping to buy Beartown to go along with that, and then I think I will have all of his full-length novels. So really excited about that. But anyway, that was my book haul. Have you guys read any of these books? Which ones are you most excited for? Let me know down in those comments below. I hope you guys have a great week and happy reading.